And I'm not showing you how to cheat because I don't want to say go and try to copy somebody else's business model. It usually backfires, but it doesn't backfire legally. Now, let me step back. Can CTM, for instance, people are expecting to find that when they get to the website. So if I try to copy all this and stick it on my website, I have a functional issue. I can't use that if it is trademarked. If it's trademarked, I can't use that. Now, let's say I did, okay? And I put up this whole site somewhere else. Now, real quick, about patents. How many of you guys are familiar with the history of rackets, tennis rackets? Way back in the day, like 100 years ago, 150. Tennis rackets used to be really tiny, all right? They were small. They were more like racquetball rackets. So it wasn't so much fun. Somebody one day thought, gee, this game could be a lot more interesting. Let's say Mr. Wilson, inventor of the Wilson rackets, I believe, was the guy, said this game would be a lot more interesting if the tennis rackets were much bigger around, And the guy said, okay, I'm going to come up with a better tennis racket, the one that's bigger. So first I'm going to go and register a patent. Now, if I make my tennis racket, now I don't know what the proper sizes are. Let's say 10-inch, diameter, from side to side, something like that. And he goes, okay, they were, 5. Now he's going to make them 10. Well, he's going to put it out. The problem he's going to have is somebody's going to come back with an 11-inch or a 9-inch or a 10.5-inch or a 9.5-inch, and they'll be outside of the realm of his patent. So he's got to be more careful. What he'll do is when he puts his patent in, he's got to cover a massive range. He's got to go from and he did. He went from, I don't know what the low end would be, I guess 9 inches. And he went clean up through something absurd on the other end. Where you're going to swing the racket, hit yourself in the head at the same time. Kind of absurd because he didn't know. Maybe there would be a cool use for it later, but he wanted to be protected now at the time that he came up with a patent. So he patented the rackets back then. Of course, patents don't last forever, trademarks don't last forever, and copyrights don't last forever. The state of the world has changed. And so, these things only last for as long as they do. I forget the exact years without looking them up. Patents last for yada-da-dee-da, number of years, and so on. Who's going to patent a website design? How are you going to do it? How are you going to say, just to have this gray bar, this dim, and somebody else goes outside by copying the template and changing the color ever so slightly? Are they outside of the bounds of the patent? What if they use a different color font? What if they don't use this particular plugin? What if they use another kind of plugin that makes this materially different? And it would probably be outside the realm of a patent. By the way, do you think this person even built this website? Heck no. They went somewhere and bought it as a template for like 49 bucks or 17 or 25 or 99, whatever it was. Okay, with all the plugins and stuff. All right, they bought it, and then they just built their content and their images into it, okay, and decided whatever they wanted for their cute fonts and stuff. But there are other websites that use this exact same template. I've seen it. So the website template, let me make another point. Sometimes you go and you find a website template shop, and you're shopping for templates, and you find one you like, and it shows you 2 prices like it does for every template on the site. Same thing with images, stock photos. It could show you 2 prices for all the photos. What is it? One of them says personal use, kind of meaning you'll put it out there, all right? And you can do it for business. And they charge you some crazy thing like 17 bucks, 49 bucks, whatever it is. Not bad at all. They're never going to chase you legally if you use it for business, even if they say don't use it for business, because think of the functional truth of it. It's too expensive to try to hunt you down for a $49 website you bought because you're using it for business. They're not going to try to track you. They're not going to try to chase you. And besides, this stuff happens all the time. And they don't know whether you got it from their site or whether you stole it from someone else. I mean, how hard is it to steal a website? It's instant. Take file, save as, and I'll just save this page just to make the point. I'm going to web page complete it, and I'm going to call it something else, mymedicine.html. I don't know, whatever it is. And this thing will wind up saving here when it gets through some of this. Now, getting back to the beginning, the other payment is going to be some huge thing. It's going to be like, for personal use, pay $2,500 or pay $5,000 or pay $8,000 or whatever it is. And by the way, this is the one on my computer. I mean, I can open this thing now with like Notepad and start changing the wording. and change all of the links to something else and so on, and maybe change out the images or whatever I want, stick it up on my own site. Except I have zero reason to do it. I don't have a business model that makes any sense. This is all about CAN-C. Can't use CAN-C if it's trademarked. By the way, it's illegal for them to use that if it's not trademarked. But whatever the case, if they're trying to show intent to trademark, then they have to put an R with a circle around it, right? That means we're intending to trademark it, but have not yet. Trademarks cost like $100. You have to, and sometimes you do this big nationwide search to make sure you're not going to impede on anyone else, and then the trademark. So there's time and effort. It takes like half a year. Okay, and so until the trademark comes through, you could use their business name because there's no proof that they actually have or will be allowed the trademark until such time as they change that R to a TM. Images and so forth, it just depends. Like this has a trademark on it, and so I wouldn't want to use it if it's a trademark site. That does not. That's just a picture of a dog. Now, did they or did they not get protection on this thing? Okay. And by the way, when you buy a template for and you say I want it for personal use for $2,500, you're thinking in terms of I'm getting it kind of on the patent feel sort of thing, and now no one else can use it. And the answer is bogus. What you're really saying is once I buy it from that site will just take it off of their site and their partner sites if they have any. It does not mean that this website template doesn't exist on some other site or somebody will put one up later. Okay, all you're doing is saying I want that, and I want you to quit selling it, which is bogus. Don't ever, ever, ever do that. Don't ever pay crazy amounts of money for an image like Rudy here, or some guy standing at a podium, or some guy staring into, a microscope or anything else. Don't ever go crazy like that because you don't have the perfect image that's going to create all the sales. You don't have the perfect image that's going to drive the most trust. You don't have the best shot of the guy standing at the lecture podium and somebody else can't get another one. Anyone can do any of this with no issue at all. Never assume that a website is patented. If I take this website, rip out their content, put in my own, and they say you're invading my copyright, then they have no idea what they're talking about. Because how did I invade their copyright? If I take their information out, plug in my own, they're going to finally come down and say, well, you're using my website. And I'm going to say, show me that you have a patent on the website. And guess what? They won't be able to. Okay, because they probably could. Well, they couldn't. Somebody that would actually want to patent it would have to originate it for real, make sure it's original, make sure it doesn't have the same frame as any other website on the net, which is impossible. And then once they get it patented, it only applies to people who've developed it after the fact, not before, and they'd still have to show you the paperwork. Same thing for the copyright. I knew a website once that sort of invaded a trademark by having it was the For Dummies guys, right? Auto repair for dummies, computer programming for dummies, the For Dummies guys. There's a website that came out there and it was la-di-da for dummies, and it was even a number 4dummies.com instead of the word for. And guess what? After they got pretty big, and some tens of thousands of members, and it was a forum, then one day the For Dummies guys got a hold of them and said, we actually have control of that. You're not allowed to use it. Now, could they sue or anything? No. Why? The first rule of any patent, any trademark, any copyright is that you have to be told. They have to contact you and let you know that you're actually interfering with a copyright. They cannot sue you. They cannot even offer to sue you. All they can do is ask you to stop. How do you respond? You respond by saying, okay, no problem. I will certainly stop, but show me your copyright, paperwork. Show me some legal documentation or something. Send me a fax or whatever that shows me, or attach a screenshot, even a PDF. That shows me the information. I want to see the number of the copyright, the trademark, of the patent. And guess what you're going to find? They'll come back with all kinds of funny, hard wording. You're really invading all our stuff and you're causing a lot of distress and concern and blah, blah, blah. But the fact of the matter is, if they don't show you that, they don't have it. Now, why wouldn't they have it?